This is Myra Elaine from the Buying Space channel. I'm doing another Publix Haul Snip It. In front of you, you mainly have nuts. I told my daughter to go to the nut section, and she went a little nuts. There are 2 more bags that she got that are not here. One's been open and one's just in the kitchen. But I also told her to go get some beef jerky, and she did the same thing in the beef jerky section. She just grabbed 4 or 5 pouches. She didn't even look at the prices. But as you see, these are gluten-free. And these are great to get your daily protein. If you have, see, carbs are 7, so that's half a snack. So if you have 2 servings, which is 1 ounce, if you have 2 ounces of this, you have the equivalent of a snack. And half your protein for the day. So we don't have to try hard, especially if we have a scrambled egg for the day, to get our protein. Although this is sometimes not good for me. I will say that. Now, I looked at the popcorn. We have an old-fashioned popcorn maker, and but we saw this. Now, I wasn't really kind of aware that popcorn, unless you know, if it has seasoning on it, it's going to maybe have gluten in it. But the plain Orville Redenbacher and the store brand, both were not marked at all. But, you know, I really wouldn't expect popcorn to be marked, because if it's just the popcorn kernels, there's no reason it would have gluten in it. So it's like considered naturally gluten-free food. So I was curious about this being marked gluten-free. This is from Arrowhead Mills, which is a high-quality food company, and it's organic. And it's hard to find corn organic. I mean, they've even found GMO seeds in the birthplace of corn in Mexico. Matter of fact, the Mexicans government was pretty upset with you know who about that, because it was a contamination of the original natural seeds for corn. And also that you know who company who's changed their name to protect the guilty have you know also tried to lay claims to people's crops because one seed fell off a truck. And this is shelf-stable pepperoni. Nothing fancy. It's anytime you want heartburn, just you know, grab some slices here. This also is high in protein. It's 6 grams, so it's only like a quarter. And the serving size, where is that? 16 slices. So, you know, you can make a homemade pizza, or you can just have a snack tray with the pepperoni and crackers and cheese squares, and make your own little miniature pizzas. Have pizza sauce as a dipping sauce, and you got a cute little snack for the holiday, or even just any day of the week. Now, she went crazy in the nut section, the cheese section, the nut section, and the jerky section. And these are glazed, and usually we don't get the stuff that's, you know, has spices and stuff in it, but these all are marked gluten-free. This one I was surprised at, that she got this dill pickle. Now, she loves dill pickles, but we've never had cashew dill pickles. So this will be interesting. This is something that I would drink with water. Now, this absolutely, positively is moon pies, and they are not gluten-free. And this happens quite often. Now, my kitchen, for well over a decade, had no gluten in it at all. And after the pestilence started, I had to accept food from a food bank for a while. And, of course, 2/3 was not gluten-free. So, I ate some of it in a different area. And I still keep my kitchen gluten-free. But, like, a treat like this for me, because I'm not the one with celiac disease, is this wonderful, these are boxed and individually wrapped moon pies. And so the moon pies, when they come in from Johnny Cajun Roots reseller from a bingo game, or I buy them for myself as a treat. I also, if you have someone in your family with celiac disease and you don't have celiac disease and you keep a gluten-free kitchen for the most part, for a decade I was a zealot about not having gluten in my home at all. But if during those years I was able to hit a drive-through and get gluten at other locations, people out in the family I visit, that kind of thing. If you don't glutenate yourself, if you go gluten-free, you'll become gluten intolerant. So you have to have a source of gluten. So since the pestilence started, I've tried to bring in delicious gluten. I try not to, have my daughter see it or be around it, because, she can't have it. But also in this grocery haul, we got tons of treats and things for her. So she has alternatives to the moon pie. Now, there's not a gluten-free moon pie that I know of. When she would go to places in the past, and they would have hot dogs, it would cost me like $25 to $30 to get the cake, the pizza, the hot dogs, hamburgers, whatever they were having at that event, gluten-free, because I was trying to get whatever they were having at the party, or the get-together, the reunion, or whatever it was, the exact same thing for her to eat, only for, it was safe for her. So anyway, by the time I bought all the stuff that was needed, because gluten-free stuff is expensive, and especially when you're looking for specific stuff, I can get things on discount and stock up on various things at times. But I don't always, if you need a specific item at a specific time, like right now, gluten-free stuffing in a box was just half a pound or to 6 ounces, just a regular one serving size for each person is like $12 right now. I went to Amazon and checked yesterday. So, it's very expensive to have celiac disease or be gluten intolerant. And also, if you have someone in your family that needs to be gluten-free, please be patient with them during the holidays. It is not their fault. Their parents are not being fussy. It's absolutely medically necessary for someone not to have gluten if they have celiac disease or if they have an allergy. Or celiac disease is not an allergy. It's a medical condition. And long-time exposure to gluten, if you have celiac disease, causes cancer. And definitely short-term, it causes GI issues. Not to be unappetizing in a grocery haul, but if you have celiac disease and diabetes, what happens is your system rejects the food, so you regurgitate, and then you have no way to intake carbs to prevent yourself from tanking. And by tanking, I mean your blood sugar going really low. And when that happens, you need to be hospitalized. So please don't test. I've had people test my daughter by giving her gluten, knowing she has celiac disease, to see if she would react without telling me, about their little experiment. I mean, there are no words to what would happen if somebody did that and my daughter ended up in the hospital. There are no words that would describe what would occur after that. And just saying, you don't poison my child, and you don't try that on other relatives because you think maybe the mother or the father or somebody's being over the top. Like, how ridiculous is this? And celiac disease causes you have to know a lot of details, and sometimes a friend or family member will get things and, oh, sorry, they still can't eat that because of this. I even had someone in my family get whole grain bread, and I'm like, that's full of gluten. It's wheat. And they didn't understand. They're like, but it's good for you. And I'm like, well, it's good for you if you don't have celiac disease. And if you do, it's poison. That's exact poison that my child cannot have. But I was taken as picky. I wasn't being picky. I was just following the rules of my child's diet so she wouldn't get sick. And since there's a combination of conditions for her, it could actually kill her. Not just make her have really bad reactions that have to be handled in the bathroom. Not just feeling nauseous, not just feeling bad, not just being bloated or have a headache. My daughter could actually die because she also has diabetes. So I'm not being picky. I'm protecting my child from coma and death. And all the other things, even if she didn't have it combined with the diabetes. If you have a friend or a family member that has a friend or a family member, and or has a friend or a family member that has celiac disease, it is serious. And it's not something they're making up to be picky. Love everyone in your family. And if they have to have a special diet, they have to have a special diet. Shouldn't we go the extra mile that everybody gets what they need during the holidays? And doesn't mean the rest of the family can't have a treat. I mean, this is going to be placed somewhere where my daughter does not eat, and it's individually wrapped, and everything will be disposed of in a way that she doesn't even have to touch this carton. So, I still get my treat, still get my moon pies, but I don't eat them at the kitchen table. And I clean up the area afterwards. But, you can still have your treats if, and I honestly think people should go the extra mile and try to get for the person a gluten-free version of it. So during the holiday, I will get my daughter gluten-free cookies. They have them pre-made, so you don't have to fuss. Now, in my kitchen is pure enough that I could make homemade cookies, because every pot and pan I have now has been, and baking sheets and all have been purchased new since she was diagnosed. She was diagnosed 15 years ago. So it's a gradual process to clean up the pots and pans in your kitchen and get them replaced. If you've used them to cook items with gluten in them, you even have to replace your pots and pans. Now, going to a relative's house, you wouldn't expect that. But, I've brought her own food to parties that is just the same. And by the time I do that, because it's so expensive, sometimes I don't have enough money left to buy a gift. I mean, it's just, you know, and then they don't understand why you don't have as much money as you normally would. And it's because you've had to buy the same meal for your child as everyone else is having, but only gluten-free. So it's difficult disease to have socially, because other people sometimes don't understand and they blame you, or they think the parent is just out of control or insane or wacky, and it's not the truth. They're just doing what's best for their child or their family member, and the disease is for real. Don't believe anybody that tells you that disease is fake. It is not. And don't experiment on people or their children to find out. You know, go to WebMD and look it up if you have someone visiting that has celiac disease, so you'll know from a credible medical source the things that it can cause. And there are all kinds of videos online to how to do things gluten-free. So have a happy holiday, everyone, and make sure that everyone around you does too.